Hello class, today we're going to talk about solving one-step equations. Now this is a review lesson. You have learned how to do this once before in 6th grade, but I need to make sure that you understand the algebraic process involved in solving a one-step equation. So let's first talk about what is an equation. Well, an equation is two expressions that are equal to each other. It's all it amounts to. It's one side equal to another side. All right? Now the one thing that's different with algebraic expressions is that you will have variables or letters in the problem. So what is the goal then of an equation? To solve for the variable, to figure out what the unknown is. That is our one goal. So goal, another thing to kind of think about goal, that is your job. Your job is to solve for the variable or to get the letter by itself. Okay, so I want to look at 4 one-step equations. There are 4 types that we will have. You have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Those are the 4 types. So I want to go through quickly how we solve that. What is the algebraic process? Some of you will say, Mr. Nash, I don't need to show the work because I can do this in my head. Well, with one-step equations, if you can't do it in your head, that's when we have a problem. So we need to find out the algebraic process. So in this first equation right here, we've got x plus 6 equals negative 5. Our job is to get this letter by itself. That's what we want to do. So I need to somehow get rid of this plus 6. Well, in order for us to do that, what we're going to do is add the opposite. So we're going to take this x, we're going to have the plus 6, but then to get rid of the plus 6, I'm going to add a negative 6, which is the opposite of that. So the 6's will then go away because they make 0, which is equal to negative 5 plus, and now whatever I add to one side, I must add to the other side as well. That's kind of a rule of thumb when it comes to mathematics. So if I add this negative 6 to the left-hand side, I also have to add the negative 6 to the right-hand side. One good way to help you remember to add it to both sides is to actually underline it. So now my 6's cancel out, they turn into 0, and we're left with x equals, which is what I want. I want to know what x is. Well, what is x equal to? Well, negative 5 and negative 6 make negative 11. Now we could even plug this back in and check our answer if we wanted to. We could take the negative 11, plug it back into the x. Negative 11 plus 6, does that give me negative 5? Yes, it does. And that's how we solve a one-step equation with addition. Now let's look at a one-step equation with subtraction. Well, the first thing that I'm going to want to do in this particular problem is I don't like subtraction. So I'm going to change this subtraction sign to an addition, the next number to its opposite. The other thing that you notice is that the letter is on the right-hand side. Don't worry about where the letter's at, because eventually you're going to have letters on both sides. So we still have to do the same thing. My job is to get this m by itself. So I need to get rid of this negative 8. To do so, we're going to add a positive 8. So when the letter's on the right-hand side, I like starting at the equal sign and just write m plus negative 8. And to get rid of that, I'm going to add a positive 8. So this is the new thing that I added into the problem. So over on the other side of the problem then, what I'll do is I'll write the 22 down. And then in front of that, I'll add the thing that I added on the right-hand side. So I've got the plus 8 again. Okay, so now on my right-hand side, I've got m plus negative 8 plus positive 8. So my 8's go away. I'm left with m, which is what I want. And then on the left-hand side, I have 22 plus 8, which gives me 30. So if I were to plug that back into the m, 30 plus negative 8, does that give me 22? Yes, it does. Okay, we've got 2 other types of problems that we're going to do, and I'm going to kind of work them circular. I'm going to work this 18 is equal to 3y first. All right, now this is what we call a multiply problem, because I have a multiply by 3. Well, in addition, what we do is we add the opposite in order to get the letter by itself. In multiply and division, we're going to do the opposite. So here, if I have a multiply by 3, in order to turn that into 1y, I have to divide by 3. So I'm then going to, if I divide one side by 3, I have to divide the other side by 3 as well. So if 3y's is equal to 18, 1y is equal to 18 divided by 3, which is 6. And again, you could plug the 6 right back in. 3 times 6, does that give me 18? Yes, it does. Okay, so you'll find out that with multiply and divide, it's less work. So to get rid of a multiply by 3, we do a divide by 3 to get rid of it. Okay, now what if I have a division? Well, just like in multiply, we did a divide to get rid of a multiply. If I already have a divide, we get rid of it by doing a multiply. So here, you'll notice on the previous problem, we had a 3 beside the y, so I put a 3 below the y in order to get rid of it. With this one, I already have a 4 below the r, so to get rid of the divide by 4, we put a 4 beside the r to get rid of it with a multiply. So if I multiply this side by 4, I need to multiply this side by 4 as well. So now my 4's divide out because I've got a 4 in the numerator and a 4 in the denominator. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now, if this were a negative 4 here, then I would divide or multiply by a negative 4. You have to use the same number. So now I end up with r is equal to, and now negative 9 times 4 gives me negative 36. So if I were to put this negative 36 back up into the r, negative 36 divided by positive 4 does give me negative 9. And that's how we solve one-step equations.